Hello, and welcome to MidSouth Matters on Germantown Municipal Television and to our special election broadcast featuring candidates for the Germantown Board of Mayor and Aldermen. I'm your host, Ruth Dunning. My guest today is David Klevan. Dave was appointed in January 2015 to serve the remaining 2 years in position 3 that was vacated by the election of Mayor Palazzolo. Dave and his family moved to Germantown in 1984. He's a graduate of Marshall University and a U.S. Army veteran. Dave is the principal owner of Corporate Benefits Management Group, offering employee benefits and other financial products and services to individuals and businesses. In 2008, his business was named Small Business of the Year by the Germantown Chamber. He's a 1997 graduate of Leadership Germantown, past board chairman of Leadership Germantown, and a member of the LGAA Alumni Association. Alderman Klevan has been married to Arlene for the past 42 years. They have 2 grown daughters, Andrea and Natalie, both of whom attended Germantown schools. Welcome, Alderman. We're delighted that you're here today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Good. And we have some interesting discussions to have here.
Wonderful. Look forward to it.
First thing we want to know is what you think was extremely well done in the last 4 years by Germantown and by the Board of Aldermen.
I guess if I was to try to capsulize it in a condensed version, I think it's creating the overall environment for our city's success to this point. And when you create that environment, you have 4 major areas, the first of which is always public safety. People move to your community because they want a safe, secure environment. They want great fire services, they want ambulance services, they want all the public safety that we can provide, and we've done just an unbelievable job of doing that. I can expand just a little bit. We're just so proud of our first responders. Our police response time is less than 2.3 minutes, which is unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yes, ma'am. Our fire response time is under 6 minutes, and that relates because that's when the call comes in. These gentlemen have to get dressed, come down the pole, load the trucks, and be there. And to do that in under 6 minutes is also amazing. One of the great accomplishments from our EMT side is we have a 43% survival rate if they can get to a cardiac patient. That's like double the national average.
Is it? How
so
wonderful.
as we have an aging population, that's a really important statistic to know that your chances of survival from cardiac arrest are greater in Germantown than any place
Just about
else.
anywhere.
Absolutely. I think the third part is, or the second part is our education, which you're seeing because of our GMSD in the last 3 years, just an explosion in the quality of our education.
Well, we see it right here with this studio.
Exactly,
Yeah.
unbelievable. This is just a beautiful scenario. Part of that, and the third leg, is probably our fiscal responsibility, how good we manage our money, and I think we have a good group of aldermen and led by a mayor that takes financial responsibility very serious. We run an annual budget that is award-winning for the past 30 years.
Amazing.
It is amazing. And I think you couple that with our economic development, and that's a byproduct of the first 3. Our economic growth has been tremendous and is tremendous. We had a little hiccup back in 2008 when the economy suffered a little setback, but we went with the economy, but we came back strong, and we're in a position now to really go forth. You see rooftops going up in subdivisions. You see economic growth in the smart growth areas with restaurants coming into town, small businesses coming in. I was looking at a report the other day that in the last 20 months, as long as I've been an alderman, we've had 13 brand new businesses come online, and we have 13 more brand new ones that are coming soon. I mean, that's 23, aside from all the other development that is going on, that I could take probably 30 minutes of a show just to talk about that. So I'll just let that go with that and let you ask another question.
Okay. Well, that's what's been good in the last, historically, in the last 4 years. Tell us what your vision is for the next 4 years.
Great question. You know, our vision is to continue the success we have. We've put all these pieces in place. Because of our great public safety, because of our schools, we're growing. We have problems that we have to, and I'm sure you'll ask this question somewhere down the line, but we have a problem of capacity. Because of the growth and success of our schools, within the next 4 years, we're going to have a capacity issue in the elementary K through 8 level, and we have to address that. And we're beginning to do that, and now I'm sure we'll talk about that here shortly. But that, coupled with our economic development growth, with our smart code coming online,
Talk to us about the smart growth and the smart code.
Smart growth is, you know, we have 20 square miles of land in our city. 17 of that is residential rooftops. 3 miles is commercial. So we are an 85% residential community. We're always going to be that way. But we have to make smart choices in the development of our commercial base where we have it. And so density becomes an issue because we don't have vast amounts of land. We only have 3 square miles to develop. So we have to look at vertical development. And we try to find places with the infiltration of young people coming into our community where you can live, work, and play all in the same area if you choose to. And this is the concept of smart growth, is the fact that you'll have a business, you'll have condominiums where you can live, you'll have businesses and restaurants where you can shop, you'll have parks where you can play, recreation, outdoor amenities. So that's the concept behind smart growth, is giving the consumer or the citizen the chance to live, work, and play all in one environment.
Very good. And how is that working out?
It's working great. We have Thornwood going up right now. There's a hotel that's ready for inspection. There's a retail business. Bob Richards Jewelers is located there. The next phase, to my knowledge, is going to be the high-end apartments, which is, I think, 280 apartments, underground parking. It's going to be like a Peabody lobby, very safe, secure. Young people traditionally aren't buying homes like we did in our generation. That was the great pride. It was home ownership. Now, with a transient society and people upwardly mobile, renters and condo owners are becoming more prevalent. So with that in mind, the developers are developing these high-end apartments where people can
rental apartments.
And they say that condominiums, because of the mobility of the transient employee base, that rental is where it is, but high-end to where it's safe, secure, has all the amenities, and close by. Aside from that, their fourth phase is going to be, they're looking at 3 to 5 high-end restaurants. You know the location is right across from GPAC, so you can see the collaboration potentially with GPAC. We've already have park settings and grove type scenarios where we brought food trucks in and brought music and bands, so you can tie the residents across the street interacting with GPAC. It's just a great opportunity, and these are visions that we see going down the road for our community.
Right next to Bob Richards, is that his name? The jewelry store. There's an area there that's being developed that's being hailed as multi-use. What is that?
That is going to be the fourth phase of that development, which is the multi-use is going to be hopefully the restaurants, some retail, up above it, high-end condominiums or apartments.
Oh, okay. So that's one of the first of those.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then that'll tie into the park setting in the middle. You have the big bell tower with the clock that's there.
Right.
So that's the third phase of that. Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay, let's go back to schools and talk about the schools. And I know there's a lot of cooperation between the boards, the school board and the Board of Aldermen. And now we seem to have a capacity problem at some of the elementary schools.
Yes,
talk to us about the location of this proposed third additional elementary school and where you think maybe it should be.
Okay, well, first of all, it's not where I think it should be. There's a lot of people that will be involved, including citizens. I think there was some misinformation that got out, the way it got started in a hurry, and we could have a long discussion of that. But here's the reality. us as a board, we get along great with our school system, but we're the managers of the funds. We don't make those decisions where the school's going to be built or what it's going to look like. We manage the funds and make sure that we're not school rich and tax poor. So we just did this with a $12 million bond issue for the expansion of Riverdale, and you're going to finally get rid of all the portables. It's going to be beautiful, and you see the dirt moving up there now. That project will be done here shortly. With this location, what we were able to do was secure basically 140 days from now through January 31st of 2017 to do due diligence on the site to see if this is potentially a place where we want to be. They tell us that you need a minimum of 15 acres to put a school in. That is for bricks and mortar and parking only. Anything above that, Germantown's way is we've always worked with our parks and put ball fields and everything together in the schools. That will take your land need up to about 30 acres. So we analyzed the sites available in Germantown. When it was first done for the first 16 months, they came up with 7 potential sites, and they ran it against some scenarios of economics, is it available, or what have you. And this site came up first. So it cost us $100 for 140 days worth of due diligence.
Oh, well, that's very good. So maybe we'll talk to you again at the end of this time period. But right now, our time's over.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, it just zooms by.
Yes, it is.
So I'd like to thank Dave Klevan for taking the time out of his day to be on the show and sharing his vision for the Germantown Board of Mayor and Aldermen, Position 3. Stay tuned for more interviews with other candidates running for the Germantown Board of Mayor and Aldermen.